Are you tired of games with surface level mechanics? Are you tired of fake RPGs and microtransactions? Are you tired of living a pointless life? If so, then Fallout New Vegas is the game for you. Fallout New Vegas is actually the last AAA RPG ever made. It was such a monumentally amazing game that after its release, the big boys all decided that everything was now an RPG, thus making nothing an RPG. Fallout New Vegas is set in an alternate future where the communist army broadcasts Fallout Boy simultaneously on every device around the world, thus leading to the collapse of modern civilization. Post-nuclear Fallout Boy, society is clawed back to existence. While post-apocalyptic technology has evolved on its own path, culture is still caught in a 1950s America traditional family values time loop. Like every great YouTube prank, you start the game by getting shot. You then wake up to the sight of a beautiful bald man with a stunning white stash. Soon, you will engage in character creation. Rule 1, have fun with it. Doc Mitchell will then prompt you to input your special values. These will be the base stats of your player character. This system is called special because all gamers are special. Pro MLG tip: just like in real life, charisma is absolutely useless, while luck is by far the best stat in-game and IRL. There are also traits, aka double-edged idiosyncrasies. I suggest picking Wild Wild Wasteland. You will then pick your skills. These are pretty self-explanatory. My pro gamer tip would be to max out speech ASAP. It makes the game incredibly fun and opens up multiple branching options to finish quests in very interesting and hilarious ways. Every 2 levels you grow, you will also be granted a perk, a unique skill that further customizes your Wastelander. There are many builds to gear your Wastelander towards. As with every Bethesda game, stealth is incredibly OP. Not being seen turns you into an absolute god apparently. This is actually a metaphor for the mistreatment of gamers by society. Our day is coming. Gamers, rise up. If one-shotting deathclaws from a distance of 3 nautical miles sounds like your thing, the stealth sniper is for you. As mentioned before, speech is a Fallout New Vegas godsend. My favorite build is a Mojave charlatan. On my most recent playthrough, I roleplayed as Ballsack, the silver-tongued bandit whose favorite hobby is collapsing society. Ballsack is a massive fan of entropy. After a cheeky bit of leveling, you can equip your Wastelander with both confirmed bachelor and lady killer, speech perks that allow you to seduce both genders, thus unleashing the power of bisexuality. With your speech stat high enough, you can also unlock terrifying presence, which gives you the power of a Karen and reduces Wastelanders to scared little children. It's very satisfying. Let me provide an example of the beauty of wit in New Vegas. In one side quest, Bye Bye Love, I valiantly offered to save Joanna, Carlitos Wayne's fated lover, from the vile Omerta gang. Poor Joanna slummed it out as a courtesan, just to save up some bottle caps and sweet sunset sarsaparilla. Of course, I infiltrated the New Vegas brothel and told Joanna of her lover's request. However, I only engaged in heroic altruism after I speeched Joanna into allowing me to partake in some carnal pleasure. Let's just say that baby Wayne may or may not look like a certain bullsack. As much as I love being a master orator, the great thing about New Vegas is that all skills provide unique chat options and allow for unique quest solutions. How's about this for an example? In a bid to help clean the mean streets of Freeside, I tried to convince old Bill Ronte, a down-on-his-luck addict, to lay off the good stuff. With the power of science, I could have convinced him to gag himself to sobriety. But with my trusty powers of speech, I convinced him to watch Fairy Tale and use the powers of friendship to overcome crippling addiction. There are many, many ways to help the wasteland or harm the wasteland. As much as I enjoy speeching the Mojave into submission, the most direct problem solutions are those accomplished with a bullet. The combat isn't exactly nice and crispy, but seeing bodies explode in vats, well, it's a thing of beauty. Combat is another form of self-expression, so gear yourself towards being the kind of combatant that you want your Wastelander to be. Then again, maybe you don't like to get your hands dirty. Fear not, grab a companion to outsource your bloodshed. I would recommend Veronica. Annoyingly, she occasionally talks about her feelings, but luckily, her main character attribute is her love of punching things. While certain skills obviously affect your combat sensibilities, the great thing about the game is that it's not just speech. Every skill can provide unique dialogue options and unlock interesting and wacky ways to finish certain quests. After all these years and all these playthroughs, I have still never convinced Easy Pete to give me the goddamn dynamite. Fallout New Vegas is a game where using your head is equally as viable as using a bullet.
We are X Games mode.
Almost every quest twists and winds down multiple, surprising, and sometimes sensual paths. Sometimes, you might find yourself ignoring the easy option because other solutions seem more fun. Take Cassidy Johnson, a whiskey-loving sharpshooter who you have to convince to sell her family's legacy as part of a Mojave entrepreneurial endeavor. Of course, I could tongue her to submission, but I was intrigued by her offer of drinking for the right to own her business. So, I gathered the required bottles of whiskey and drank the night away with her, all with the memory of sweet old Bill Ronte in my heart. We miss you, buddy. Eventually, your name will become famous, associated with great kindness or wicked evil. Luckily, you will find that there is even a mechanic for spreading rumors to combat any misconceptions people might have about you. There's nothing quite as satisfying as controlling your narrative. During my ballsack playthrough, despite an insatiable appetite for murder and chaos, I was still seen as the savior of the wasteland. Ballsack the courier had a terrible habit of murdering innocent wastelanders.
Hey, you're the one who's been going around helping people around here, right?
However, every now and then, when Ballsack was struck by a pang of guilt, shameful of his glittering reputation in the face of his dark truth, Ballsack would sneakily give back to the wasteland like a Mojave Father Christmas. Take Dr. Hildan for example, just another medical worker doing his bit to make the Mojave more healthy. How's about giving back for once, Ballsack? How's about gifting him with a live grenade? Fallout New Vegas is a metaphor for parenting.
Where's my mommy?
You might fuck up and make a few mistakes here and there, but if you trust the process and let yourself enjoy the ride, you will end up with a slightly fucked up, but impossible not to love mess of a playthrough. In one side quest, you are literally tasked with teaching and basically parenting a ragtag NCR battalion. You can teach them how to shoot better or have Ubisoft game demo levels of voice chat organization, but offhandedly, I decided to get them addicted to narcotics.
Groove-tastic. Tell him it's on his tab.
Fast forward to the end of the game, and I was heartwarmingly told of their drug-fueled dishonorable discharges.
Ooh, hot damn, it's gonna be a party in the camp tonight.
Let's just say, Ballsack was a proud parent. Fundamentally, Fallout New Vegas is all about how your choices can ripple affect the New Vegas Strip. The main story and entire game is all about taking control of the Hoover Dam. Even post Fallout Boy, water is still wet. While your overall karma is important, the geniuses at Obsidian understand the value of moral relativism. Alongside arbitrary distinctions like good and evil, New Vegas understands that being a human is all about relationships. It's all about being popular. The New California Republic are a group from out west who seek to reimpose society, law, and order onto the wasteland. They are massive fans of government and bureaucracy. I suggest siding with them if you like paying taxes, appreciate the opinions of blue checkmarks on Twitter, and enjoy society. Bruh. Their great enemies are Caesar's Legion, a feverish cult obsessed with their charismatic leader and ancient Roman structures of authority. I suggest siding with this group if you are a fan of indentured servitude, hate women.
What do you want from me, woman? I'm in charge of the arena, not the cooking pots.
And think that we live in a society. While the Legion might first come across as a group of authoritarian savages, they share a certain poetic flair and boyish charm.
Lupa. Yes, she's the mother of a lot of our best dogs. She's getting old, but she's still a tough old bitch. Aren't you, girl?
Finally, there is Mr. House, an anthropomorphic house who stuck his willy inside a floppy disk drive and became a human television symbiote. Mr. House is a huge fan of capitalism and the free market. I suggest siding with him if you are an entrepreneur, a free thinker, and are a massive fan of unemployment. Ave, true to Todd, each group is worth siding with at least once. Ave, true to great game design, you will find that intergroup relationships are complex and loaded with history, existing far beyond the scope of the player's tiny little playthrough.
Get fucked.
Beyond the big boys, there are sub-factions all worth discovering on your own, all with their own backstories and intergroup relationships. You will find that certain groups don't think very highly of certain other groups. I don't want to spoil the discovery of the sub-factions,
Who the fuck are you and why are you bothering me?
so let me just say that it is an absolute joy to swim through and influence the factional politics of New Vegas. My absolute favorite feature of this game is the fact that you can kill quite literally everyone. It just works. Unfortunately, as much as I tried, I could not kill the children.
Yeah, boy.
Beyond the main questline and factional fun, the Mojave is a wasteland worth exploring. The New Vegas Strip is a small slice of glitz and glamour, a taste of the high life, a scallop of pleasure in the post-apocalyptic wasteland. The New Vegas Strip has remained relatively untouched by radioactive Fallout Boy, thanks to the supra-cosmic power of debilitating gambling addiction. The Strip is a stunning neon-lit 3 loading screen house of sin. Have some fun, gamble a little, get drunk, and maybe, just maybe, you'll end up in bed with pretty boy Jimmy. It's not all Sex in the City though. Beyond the Strip, the Mojave is still a ruthless, savage, and entertaining post-apocalyptic wasteland. It can be a cruel place, where tragic beauty is just as abundant as primal barbarity. Death claws and rad roaches litter the wastes. Even these tiny little butterfly looking mofos are tough as hell. I first saw that getting stung by them made me a little woozy and thought I had discovered an au naturel and convenient supply of psycho, if you catch my drift. I then dropped dead. The Mojave is a place where break a leg takes on a more literal meaning. No matter where you go and how you choose to shape New Vegas, the characters you meet and interact with will stay in your heart and mind for a very long time. I will never forget the walks me and Bill Ronte had on Freeside, or the times we spent golfing. Bill was a flawed and occasionally explosive character, but he was still a guy that people naturally gravitated towards. We miss you, buddy. Sweet Cassidy Johnson, even after losing her family's business, still never lost her sense of humor.
Nobody's dick's that long. Not even Long Dick Johnson, and he had a fucking long dick.
It's a little comforting to know that even in a post-apocalyptic wasteland, Frenchmen are still self-righteous dickheads.
Who the fuck do you think I am? I'm the fucking god of New Vegas Brahmin fusion cuisine, that's who. I fucking invented edible food. I yell at people because I like yelling at people, and because they fucking deserve it. Not because Mumsy and Daddykins didn't hug me enough.
This is a game where 1 minute you will find yourself pranking Private Crenshaw, then you will find yourself programming a sex bot, then you will find yourself making modern art. Most importantly, you will find yourself having a shitload of fun. I've probably spoken too much, so I'll stop things there. Trust me, this is a game you need to play. I know it's a little old, but honestly, as games become more mainstream, homogeneous, and boring, Fallout New Vegas still shines bright as one of the last great AAA RPGs. RA, true to gaming. Have fun out there, Wastelanders.